Right now.
Real Talk Wednesday.
Real talk.
An hour a day with the Dread UK, Monday to Friday. On Monday,
Reggae traffic.
on Tuesday,
Retro and revival.
on Wednesday,
Real Talk.
on Thursday,
Promote the thing.
on Friday.
Feel Good Friday.
The Dread UK production YouTube channel. Real talk and real music right here.
Real Talk Wednesday.
Greetings, manners and respect to each and every one logged in right now. Is Wednesday, and you know what that means, real talk. Before I start, I like to let the people them know, real talk is about a platform where we give our opinion on current news and events, what is out there. You see what I'm saying? So we're taking a look at the narrative, what's being pushed on to us as the straightforward people. That's the narrative what we're looking on today. I've got a few clips today, and what's recently been in the news, there's been a young lady who is suing her school for making they made a 4-year-old child be involved in this gay pride sort of thing, so she was suing the school. That was a few days back. I'm going to get the update to see what happened with that case, because it's a first test case like that in the UK. And you see, this is taking up to same thing what I was telling you. Remember I was showing you some footage in America, and the one thing I do say is that, you know what? The one thing I do say is that a lot of things what you see happen in America comes over here. And there you go, you got the first test case of this young lady who is taking the school to court. It's in Norwood, South Norwood somewhere, or Norwood, made the child get into this gay pride celebration thing. Now, this is the question I'm asking now. Do you think it's right for children as young as 4 years old to be engrossed or bombarded with these things in school, which is part of the curriculum now? You know what I mean? Should LGB lessons be taught in schools? Now, I want to see your honest views and opinions on this. All right, now I'm going to show you a piece of footage, where this young lady is talking her case. So I'm going to show you it. She's on a chat show. Let me just share the screen and move it over. And then we're going to get into this. You know what I mean? Large up Steve Rowe, large up Bluebird in the building. So we're going to get into this right now. See? So there's the question what I've posed in the chat room there. What's your views and opinions on that? I'd like to say once again, this is a channel where I voice my opinion on a lot of news what's out there already. That's just for those to think that we're spreading rumors and this and that. Just like me to show this the other week, I see a couple people supporting all of them things. They're saying, oh, they should sue you for slander. It can't be slander if the news is out there already, and I never generated that news. So sometimes as well, some of these people who say that they're activists, they need to get a little bit of intelligence. Anyway, I'm going to show you this, and you tell me what you think. Anyway, I've got few bits of footage, and I've got their side, what they're saying to defend this thing here as well. So I want you to just take it in. And this is this young lady, her 4-year-old forced into LGBT pride parade. Christian mother shares all on GB News. Free Speech Nation. All right, so take a look at this, folks. See? All right.
Welcome back to Free Speech Nation. Mother Izzy Montague has taken her son's school to court after claiming they forced her 4-year-old son to take part in an LGBT pride parade. She wrote to Heavers Farm Primary School in South Norwood, London, back in 2018, asking that her son be excused from attending because it went against the family's beliefs. The school refused, and Mrs. Montague launched legal action, supported by the Christian Legal Centre, against the school on grounds of direct and indirect discrimination, victimisation and breach of statutory duty under the Education Act 1996 and the Human Rights Act 1998. And Izzy Montague is here to discuss this now. Welcome to the show. So, a lot of people would be surprised to hear that a 4-year-old would be expected to participate in an LGBT pride parade. That feels like a sort of adult activity that people choose to get involved with. What were the circumstances surrounding this?
So the school decided that they wanted to celebrate Pride Month. It was June. Everyone else was doing it, all the other big companies. So the school said that, yeah, it's something that they wanted to do. It was advertised to the parents on a blog that it was about Stonewall, celebrating the gay federations and liberations of sexual freedom. And they feel like this would be something really good for the school to do, and it should end with a pride parade on the 29th of June.
And so you wrote to them and just said, well, you would like your son not to participate.
So I wasn't aware, I have to admit, I wasn't aware of a school blog at this stage. My son was 4, hadn't, really, this was quite new to me. I'm used to the old ways of doing things, a newsletter in a bag.
Yeah.
So I only became aware of this when I saw an article and a parent had complained about the things that had been going on that month with what their child had been doing in the classroom. Yeah. So I see this article, I'm quite shocked and amazed, and then that's when I get in contact with the school.
And what did they say to you?
They just said that, I said, he can't do a pride parade at the end of the month. We're Christian, he will not be able to celebrate this. I was told that it's an assembly, all children have to participate, and no children should be excused from any school assembly on whatever grounds.
But that's interesting, because even the organisers of Pride would admit that it is a essentially political event. And so to try and get a 4-year-old involved with politics, as though they've even had a chance to really think about these issues, that seems a bit strange.
It was very strange. We were knocked back with a lot of... basically, it's mandatory, these lessons. It's about celebration of diversity. So a way to kind of, get it away from the fact that it was LGBT celebrations. It was more to do with the fact that, children are just proud. They renamed it. So it was to do with a pride parade, but then they later renamed it to be Proud to Be Me.
You hear the skill of these people. You see how they renamed it? Proud to Be Me. Yeah, what you on about? Now, just take a look at this. Take a look at this. It's really
that
sad.
was just another tactic to basically force children to do this.
It does feel like a lot of schools are sort of very obsessed at the moment with the notion of diversity, Black History Month, Gay History Month, LGBT History Month, and this kind of thing. Would you be happy with having discussions about these ideas in school, so long as the children weren't expected to participate in a celebratory way, not have a choice?
Correct. I mean, I think any type of social or social ideologies should definitely be discussed first with the parents. I have no problem with any parent not wanting to celebrate something that is quite close to our hearts. So if your child didn't want to march in an Easter parade, if a parent decided that, well, I don't want my child to do that, that has nothing to do with us. We will still participate. But I think it's important that children should be allowed to have an education first. Let's make that the most important thing. All these other social things should be choices, and it doesn't really need to take place.
Is your concern just what's going on at this particular school, or is it a broader problem with the schooling system generally?
Exactly. So I think what really made me stand up for this was because there wasn't anywhere to turn to. It was quite clear and quite obvious that schools can just act as authoritarian as they like, enforce things onto families without any question. And when you decide, I was shocked, because I was like, this is not right. Somebody needs to stop this. I was calling everybody, and it's quite clear that schools are just allowed to ram raid this onto families. And
Real
this is
Talk
what the extent that you
Wednesday.
have to go to. You have to go to court to stop schools from just doing as they please.
Do you think that a lot of parents are too nervous to say anything about this?
Correct. I do think that a lot of parents are scared of the backlash. This is quite a big thing. I mean,
And this is the important thing. The parents can't be frightened of backlash. You just have to say no to these people because they're pushing their agenda on straightforward people, I'm telling you. Yeah, welcome to the building, Jesse. Yeah, they're pushing this agenda narrative on the straightforward people. Listen to her again.
particular situation in the schools. Yeah.
And those accusations have come your way, have they?
Definitely, the bigoted, and this isn't about me wanting anyone else to follow my beliefs. This is about my son going to school,
There's
getting an
the labeling
education,
now.
and just being able to have his own beliefs.
Now, just
And
for
before we
saying
finish, I
no.
just want to ask you, Izzy, about other parents. Have you had much support from other people? Do you get the sense that there are other parents within the school who share your concerns but maybe haven't spoken out?
Oh, definitely. At the beginning of this, I definitely wasn't alone. There was other parents who were as much forthright about this, but it's the backlash. It's really serious, and I do feel it for the other parents. I understand that, if you're sending your child to a school that has such strong views, how will they treat your children? My child was in, a 3-hour detention after this whole thing when I complained. So there's no doubt that people do feel that they will be,
You heard that? They gave the child a detention, 3 hours.
Very interesting. Well, Izzy Montague, thank you so much for joining us today.
You see that? They gave the child a 3-hour detention just to push their narrative round to people. I'm telling you, it's real, you know what I mean? The narrative is pushing against the straightforward people. You know what I mean? I got another clip here, seeing this is Piers Morgan, but he's got some of those people who's defending it on his show as well. So here you're gonna get their narrative, yeah? And then you can give your opinion in the comment section. Seeing? You don't know, say, I saw your thing set is real. This is Real Talk on a Wednesday. You don't know, say, yo. Me I tell you.
Real Talk Wednesday.
It no real, hey, yo. Anyway, listen to this now. See, this is happening. They're debating it in America and over here. So they're gonna mention the same young lady in this clip here. But there's more people in the panel discussing this issue. Take a listen.
Talking on Census, still to come tonight, Burberry's Valentine's Day advert is accused of glamorising mastectomies. Should brands be activists like this or just stick to selling handbags? We'll debate that later, but first she's been nicknamed Christian Mum. Izzy Montague launched legal action in 2019 against her son's London school over an LGBT pride parade. Tomorrow, her case goes to court. It's the first case of its kind in the UK. She will claim a pride parade held at the school promoted gay lifestyles and indoctrinated children, and her child was 4 at the time. It's a debate raging on both sides of the Atlantic. In the US, 78% of parents do not believe sexual orientation or gender identity should be taught to young children. And now Donald Trump has, of course, got involved and said it's going to be a central part of his bid to return to the White House, branding gender ideology a cult.
We're going to stop the left-wing radical racists and perverts who are trying to indoctrinate our youth, and we're going to get their Marxist hands off of our children. We're going to defeat the cult of gender ideology and reaffirm that God created 2 genders called men and women.
Well, Ava, I can feel bristling to my side here. Been joined also by Paula and Adrian, who's also bristling. Richard Tice, I don't know, probably nodding away. Also with me now is LGBT rights campaigner Peter Tatchell and the Fox News contributor Tommy Lehrer. Well, welcome, a stellar panel, I've got to say, for this. All right, Tommy Lehrer, let me start with you. Because there's been a...
All right, you see the guy on the left of this picture here, yeah? That's the famous Peter Tatchell. Now, him in reggae business... Yeah, he was the one that was behind the big campaign to try and put down Shabba from them time there. And you don't know, say, I saw the thing set, the rest is history. There's banning reggae artists for talking about them and all kind of things, you know what I mean? Yeah, this is the same guy here, when me I tell you. Yeah, you see how him a go on? All right. I tell you, yo, it's quite. If you see how far this agenda is being pushed, you're shocked. I'm just saying to all parents, yo, talk to your children before these nutcase them get pon them.
A big burning issue in America now, raging away for quite some time. It's one of the reasons I think that Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, has seen such surging popularity, potentially heading him to the White House in this battle over what you can teach at school.
You're going to get 2 point of views here, yeah? So take a listen.
What is your view?
Listen, we do not need to be teaching this radical LGBT grooming agenda in schools. It's one thing if parents want to do that on their own time. That is a parent's right to do that, with some exceptions, of course. But to bring this in and bake this into a public school curriculum is wrong. And meanwhile, Chinese students are learning quantum physics, and we've got our students learning how to twerk from drag queens. It's not going to end well. This is grooming. This is ideological mind control. It's introducing this to a group of individuals, especially to young kids who have no business learning any of this sexually explicit material. This is not about being anti-gay, or as the incorrectly labeled Ron DeSantis' bill, don't say gay. This is about keeping this out of the classroom because it does not belong there. This is a grooming agenda. It is extreme. It is explicit. It does not belong in front of young children at their school. They should be learning reading, writing, and arithmetic, not this filth.
Well, I imagine, Peter Tatchell, you agree with every word of that?
Hear this man now.
Well, here in Britain, we know from
Welcome
research
Josephine to the
that
place.
nearly half of all lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender people in our
wire.
schools have been bullied. Bullied, teased, sometimes subjected to physical violence, simply because of their sexuality or their gender identity. So this education in British schools is designed to combat bullying and to promote understanding and acceptance. None of the teaching in British schools is sexually explicit, nor is any of the material in United States schools. It is all about promoting understanding and tolerance. So what's just been said is a complete misrepresentation of the teaching, and I think that any parent would want their child to be brought up in a school where understanding and acceptance of difference is valued, where people are not bullied because of their sexuality.
Okay, here's what I would say.
Now, I'm a parent, and I don't agree with their teaching of their ideology to my children. If I don't teach that to my children, then it's a conflict, yeah? If me I teach my children about culture and these things, it's a conflict when you go and take your child to school to so-called get educated, and then you're faced with these kind of twisted people with their narrative, just pushing their agenda, pushing their agenda. You know what I mean? I mean, even listen, man. Anyway, just listen to him look a foolish chat. Anyway, Piers is going to attack him with some of it still. Even though I know say Piers is a twat sometimes. But you know what? You know what I mean? You can't even fool all him with that. Yeah, tell ya. Anyway, listen.
That, Peter. I don't disagree with some of what you just said. I think the issue here is age. I've got 4 kids. You've all gone through, obviously, all this. I just think the idea that at 4, any child should be exposed to anything like this is ridiculous. I really do. They're just nowhere near old enough to understand or even begin to understand any of the stuff that is being taught in this way. So although this woman in this court case did this on religious grounds, she's a Catholic, and this is what her, she believes her religion has taught her to believe. That's one debate. But actually, the wider debate for me is what age should we be teaching kids about things like gender identity? And should they be compelled to go on pride parades and so on at the age of 4? I don't think so.
No one is compelling any child to go on a pride parade anywhere. Not in school, not in the street, nowhere. And when it comes to teaching, the teaching is not about sex at a young age, it's about relationships and the fact that some kids will be in married heterosexual families, some will be in single families, some will be in extended families, and some will be in same-sex families.
Pushing their narrative.
Different families that kids in our schools are part of. And of course, all those kids should feel loved and appreciated. The essence of this teaching is about love and respect for other people. It's not about sex at all.
OK, let's bring in the panel here. Paula?
Good evening. I completely agree with Peter, and I'm really concerned.
This is our next mad one there now.
Could use the words
She
radical.
completely agree with this thing. This is another sold up one there to the story, you know what I mean? And they put them on TV to push the narrative. Look how she groomed well with her ears ring on, having her lipstick on. I completely agree with Peter. It's not about this and that. Children, yeah? First of all, them just I say kids. Kid is a baby goat. Yeah? Children we are talking about. You know what I mean? A kid is a baby goat. Allow them in their kids' business. You know what I mean? The whole of their thing is going against the teachings of our I culture. Trust me. It's going against the whole thing. So what are they talking about? Look at they put on this pretty groom woman for God chat nonsense. Anyway, let's hear her nonsense, car we are listening both sides, you know what I mean? You could just weigh up in your mind and give your opinion to it, you know what I mean?
And grooming when we're having a very sensible conversation about helping children to understand who they are.
As we saw that poll, 78% of Americans would share a lot of the views that Tommy Laren expressed there. They do not want to see kids aged 4 getting bombarded with this kind of ideology at school.
But what kind of ideology? What exactly are we talking about? And if you listen to Peter, he
we're talking,
explains it very carefully.
I'll give an example. When you start teaching kids, I mean, the BBC, for example, had one of their teaching videos said there were over 100 genders. The BBC should not be teaching children there are 100 genders. One of them was astrogender, which is an affinity with the stars.
Yo, let me put on my laughing jingle. What? I said to Jack, you see what they tried to push? Yo, they tried to confuse our youth, they mean up.
Right, the ones flying around the moon. So I'm sorry. I do actually think that children should not be exposed to that kind of claptrap.
I don't think children
be children, particularly at that age. Come on,
Richard, they're growing up in households.
No, there's an age. There's an appropriate.
Let their families have the conversations they feel they should have.
Who are desperately concerned about what is being taught in primary school, and the truth is, we don't know what's being taught for far too much.
About the high percentage of children who suffer bullying, who are vulnerable, where safeguarding is very.
All right then. Hear what? When I was growing up, there weren't no whole heap of children in there getting bullied because they was, you know what I mean? Honestly. You know, they're just trying to push a story, you know what I mean? I wish I could play a violin right now. Maybe would I just play 2 violin string for them?
That's about teaching tolerance and empathy. That's got nothing to do with gender ideology.
Without having a pride parade. That's what this is about. It's not about being proud to be gay. It's about being proud to be you.
You can teach to be tolerant and understanding, but
that's the skill they use now, without having a pride parade. Yeah, but it's not about a pride parade. It's proud to be you. No. You're using they might use it. This is the same way they equate their struggle with the black struggle. It's the same thing. I got some more footage to show you how the doctor deal with them eloquently. Yeah, me I tell you. Anyway, in the meantime, listen to this.
At 4, 5, 6, 7,
I don't hear
we actually do that. Aside
tolerant.
from all of this, we actually teach sex quite explicitly in heterosexual relationships from a really young age. You actually have children in nativity plays where you're playing a mother who has an immaculate conception and then gives birth to a baby. What are you teaching about? You're talking about
if you've ever, as I have done 4 times, had kids who've appeared in these things they thought, they haven't got a Scooby-Doo what any of that
Well, I
means.
grew up Catholic and I knew what sex was from a very young age.
Well, I'm sure you did.
But what's the purpose of that story? The purpose of that story is love.
Yes.
The purpose of that story is bringing people together.
It's a load of crap. The purpose is you should send your children to school to learn maths, English, quantum physics, and these things.
Of a transgender person
Joker,
who committed 2 rapes when identifying as a man, rapes of women, and before the court case started, it had transitioned to become a woman, and then was tried under a female name. And then when he was convicted, this person, I'm using that term deliberately, I think, because I'm unconvinced by this transition process. When this person was then convicted, the brought in a law which allowed this trans person to then be put into a woman's prison as a woman who had literally got a penis and raped 2 women. So that not only were they being punished by being put into a place where they could attack other women, but they were being treated as if they were legitimately exactly the same as a woman born to a female biological body. What do you make of that?
Piers, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, this is a problem that we are encountering in the
Peter,
US.
Peter, I'll come to you. You can correct me. Well, Peter, you can correct me. All right, well, hang on. Let's go to Peter first. Correct me on what I said that was wrong.
She was put into a woman's prison, but in a segregation unit where she had no contact with other women.
But she shouldn't have been put in there at all.
A rapist must never. A rapist should never have contact or be a potential risk to other women. She's now been moved to a male prison, quite rightly, and again, she will have no contact with women.
Why do you say she has been moved to a male prison quite rightly, though? Because that immediately, to me, sounds incredibly confusing. You're saying she, so you presumably think that she is a woman, and yet she is being moved to a male prison because nobody else actually now thinks she is actually a woman. She's a man with a penis who raped 2 women. And actually, even her ex, or his...
I tell you see them campaigns, so they don't have no sense, you know. They don't have no sense. He said, she is quite rightly gone to a male prison. You know, see it? That's you confusing the you already. How she can go to a man prison? You know, see it? Confusion. Listen, people, they're pushing their idiot narrative on people, and if we're not mind sharp, them just take over in every little thing you see around you. You've got to see these people chatting rubbish and telling you got to accept them. And the minute you don't accept them, they label you all kind of label. Yeah? The minute you start talk the truth about them, I tell you, them people are wicked set of people, man.
Her or person, whatever, their ex-wife said that this is all a complete scam to game the system and get into a softer prison.
Well, I think you're probably right. I think it does look like the person is gaming the system. But, you know, the fact is that the transfer to a woman's prison was not based on any new law introduced by the Scottish Government. It was based on existing policy, which was to respect a person's gender identity, but not under any circumstances put someone who'd committed crimes against women in contact with other women, and that's why she was in a segregation unit.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think what I said was wrong, because by new law I meant this is a law that's come in recent years, which...
Anybody knows about segregation unit, yeah? Certain top people, when them go to prison, that's where they go and do prison. They don't go on the wing, and they live in different, yeah? I tell you, you know, they're segregated, you know. Yeah, all of them kind of treatment there. You know, that's it. If you commit them kind of crime there as a man and go to jail, you're in a trouble. Yeah, and them segregate him. Him, yeah, he, she, whatever him is.
People they can attack.
But there are over 200...
Yeah, so I want to be very clear about this. Not everybody who is transgender does something like this. My turn to talk. Not everybody who is transgender is going to do something like this. But you're opening the door for this. And even beyond that, well, we're not even talking about a women's or a men's prison. Let's just talk about here in the USA, and I know in the UK as well, when they're having biological men compete in women's sports, using the same locker rooms, exposing themselves to the female athletes that are often in high school. It's inappropriate. It doesn't belong in schools. It doesn't belong in society. This free-for-all, you can identify as anything. You can abuse the system. You can abuse this whole notion of gender identity. It's gone too far. And to even criticize it now has been labeled bigotry. It's not. It's reality.
Okay.
We need to protect people. We need to especially protect young people.
Well, I actually agree with all that. Peter Tatchell,
Real Talk Wednesday.
You've been doing. I do think you've been, you know, on a mission of discovery yourself about the perils here of this, particularly in this case in Scotland, of this rapist. But if I was to ask you now a question which has become the most dangerous, controversial question in the world for some reason, what is a woman to you?
This would be
funny. A trans woman is a woman, but not the same as biological women. There's a difference between biological sex and gender identity. Both are equally valid, both equally deserve respect and equal rights. There should not be a competition between biological women and trans women. They both suffer from very elevated levels of domestic violence, sexual assault, including rape. That applies to both trans women and other women as well. So let's find a common ground rather than fighting each other. The enemy is misogyny. That's the enemy, not trans women.
You're not misogyny.
I think the enemy is misogyny in many ways, but I think the enemy is also virtue signalling, because the idea that you can let trans women who have massively superior physical bodies compete in professional sport against women born to female inferior physical bodies, I think is for the birds. But we will, actually, that's an unfortunate turn of phrase. No offence to anyone who's offended by my use of the word birds. But thank you very much, Peter Tatchell. Great to have you.
Yes, you see there, you don't know, say, the people here push hard for them agenda, you know. Don't get it twisted. They are pushing hard as wow for this agenda to be going through. May I tell you, it's not a good look right now. Let's just bring my camera back in. Yeah, man, so them people are behaving, you know. So you give me your thoughts and opinions on what you've seen there. I got some more footage as well, you know. I like the way the man you broke it down, you know, especially towards I black community. You see it because you don't know, say, for healer community, you have to deal with your things in your own way amongst yourself, and don't make these people jump on a bandwagon and equate LGBTQ struggle with the black struggle. Yeah, this is what's going on, and they use our backs for that all the time. They don't talk up for anything like that other than their little, you know what I mean? Any little protest will go on about anything, you would see one of them come there and wave them little rainbow flag. Yeah, they're not talking up for nothing. Yeah, they're just there to push their narrative on people. And that me I said to you, no. Yeah, and it's real talk, and we're not playing a game in this. I'm not playing. Yeah, it's real, and it's happening. So we as a people have to be aware. Look there, you just don't see the lady there take her something. You know what I mean? You don't know, so she take them to court. This is how these things have to move. Because when they sit down there and think that people ain't bothered and they can just slip through this 1-2 thing, boy, better careful with that. Yeah, cause right now, they might push them narrative and they might push it hard. All right, I have this footage here with Dr. Omar Johnson, yeah, versus an ultimate LGBT, yeah. You don't know, say, yo, you're going to hear the debate and you're going to listen to the whole thing, and then just give us your comments at the end of it. Yeah, me personally, I think, yeah, he's on the money right here. And I like the way he eloquently dismiss them and them little narrative with them a push or the story what they bought. You see me, I tell you. Yep, I tell you. Anyway, people, this is Real Talk Wednesday. Yours truly, Gregory Fabulous. Yeah, man, and we have got through some of them issues. Yeah, them a push them narrative on the straightforward people. Them a try confuse your brain. May I tell you?
Real Talk Wednesday.
All right, listen to that, Tao.
Real Talk.
I am talking about three women. I am talking about three women that started this movement.
Out against white supremacy.
They do.
And the reason LBGT. I'm not talking about you as an individual, but the reason why the LBGT movement does not speak out against white supremacy.
Because I didn't understand. I said, I'm the most likable guy. How could you not like me? What's wrong with these black feminists? I support the black woman. Are you crazy? When I'm fighting in the schools, I'm helping single moms most of the time. What's going on? Then I figured it out. Somebody sent me their pictures. The top 5 feminists, And guess what they all had in common? They was all ugly. You said that ugly. And I said, I see what this is. In psychology, there's something called transference and projection. It's when you really, you know, you really desire something that you can't have, and it makes you mad, so you project it onto something else. And because I'm cute, they mad I'm
cute.
Leave me alone. My God. I mean, my goodness, I'm not even famous yet, man. I mean, my goodness, they come and wake up. Dr. Umar, they keep picking with me, y'all. I remember my book came out. And for those of y'all who don't have my book, Psychoacademic Holocaust, make sure you get a copy tonight. It's available on my table out that door. I'll sign it for you. You must read it if you're raising a black child, especially a boy. You must read it. I teach racism so that we're all crystal clear on where I stand. Yes, it is true. I do not support it. Yes, it is true. I do not condone it. But it is absolutely false if anyone says that Dr. Umar Johnson hates any of my brothers and sisters who practice a traditional lifestyle. A non-traditional form of marriage. Okay? In my school, there will be none of that type of energy. I don't believe it's in the best interests of African people. And I understand that although you might be gay or lesbian, I understand that there's certain forces within the United States government, there's certain forces within European society that are pushing and propagating that particular lifestyle because they recognize the threat it poses to the continuation of African life, because two men cannot make a child,
Wednesday.
And two women cannot make a child. Because I disagree with the way you live doesn't mean I hate you? Of course not. Doesn't mean I want to see harm come to you? Of course not. You catch the same type of racism we catch whether you gay or not. But what I would argue is if you got an issue, if we disagree on some things in the black community, brothers and sisters, and I want my gay and lesbian brothers to hear me if any of them are here, if we disagree on something, you must still have enough political savvy not to let the European use our disagreement to start a civil war in the black community. We can have that conversation in private.
Real Talk Wednesday.
They're trying to use you against me. This is the same argument I give to black women. Yes, black women have issues with black men, sister. It's true that we have sexism in the black community. That's true, brothers. Let's be honest, whether it's the church or the revolutionary group, we normally only want the black women for three things: taking notes, baking food, and making cookies. And you know what cookies are, okay? And I think a black woman has more to offer than just those three things. So brothers, yes, we can be sexist against our women. Ain't no issue with that. And black women, we got to deal with that. But that don't mean you go and join the white woman's lib movement. Right. The white woman don't care about you either, black woman. She's only using you for your numerical strength. Okay? When that white woman's lib popped off in the early 1900s, that white woman got in black women's heads and made the black woman think that the black man was her problem. Let's take a look at that. I understood why the white woman fought the white man. I understood it. You know why? The white man controlled if she could work. He controlled if she could leave the house. He controlled whether she could wear pants or not. He said your job is to raise the kids and nothing else. He controlled her. Now, black woman, let me ask you a question. What black man gonna stop your ass from getting a job? Black woman, let me ask you. Since when have we ever controlled how you dress? Okay? Black man can keep no black woman in no house. Y'all don't listen to us. So how you gonna pop up talking about I'm fighting for women's rights with the white woman? The white man controls her. We've never controlled you guys. So if there's a black male-female issue, talk about it in-house. Yeah. If there's a black gay heterosexual issue, let's talk about it in-house. But don't let your oppressor use you as a weapon against the others. No matter how much I disagree with things that certain black folk do, I will never let white folks try to use me against them. I think President Obama is one of the greatest sellouts we had in my lifetime. But white folks, even with that being said, no white person could come to me and try to get me to assassinate President Obama's character. You understand? For the sake of the Republicans and for the sake of the Tea Party, you can't use me against my own, even if his ass is trifling. Are y'all following me? And so we got to make sure we exercise that principle. Because white folks love to play these games. Well, what do you think about Umar Johnson? Okay, I might not agree with everything my brother said, but that's my brother. And at the end of the day, if a war popped off, he would have my back before you, white man, so we can have that conversation. Okay? And we got to make sure we exercise that because nobody else puts their internal racial business on Front Street but black folks. Yeah. Do you realize that there's different types of Jews in America? And they don't really like each other? I know, because I went to school with them. I learned from them that they don't like each other. Can't stand each other. But when it comes to dominating that economy, all that petty difference, put that to the side. We're going to talk about the money right now. Are y'all following me? Yeah. Europeans don't all like each other. I know because I work with them. Irish think they better than Italians. Italians think they better than the Polacks. Polacks think they better than the Jews. Jews think they better than the Anglo-Saxons. Anglo-Saxons think they God. Blonde hair, blue eye, you can't tell them a damn thing. But guess what? When it comes to white supremacy, we're going to put that to the side for a minute. Let's get back in control of the world, go back to fighting later. Same thing the Asians do, same thing the Arabs do. But when it comes to black folk, we not mature enough to say, wait a minute, y'all, this fighting we doing is going to leave us all behind. Yeah. We got to get over our petty differences, brothers and sisters. And one of the first petty differences we got to get over is the belief that the only way we can get forward is if we all believe in the same religion. That's right. We ain't got to all believe in the same
Real Talk Wednesday.
For what? You Christian, I respect that. I ain't got a problem with you. You Muslim, I respect that. I ain't got a problem with you. You Jehovah's Witness, I respect that. I ain't got a problem with you. Stop starting the watchtowers under my daughter. If you Catholic, I ain't got a problem with you. You Nation of Islam, that's all right. You Moor, that's all right. You God and Earth, that's all right. You Nawapian, that's all right. You practice voodoo, that's all right. Santini, Apollo, Lukumi, Rasta, Ifa, Akan, whatever the system, that's all right. You got a right to build your relationship with divine consciousness any kind of way you feel. Who's my number 4? Queen.
I'm actually going to pass it to my sister after we do.
Okay, so y'all set me up.
No. All right, Dr. Umar, my name is Diane.
Here we go, here we go.
Kansas City, and I am one of those ugly black feminists that you are not a fan of. So I appreciate you coming here to Kansas City, and I figure if I'm going to have something to say, I'm going to say it to your face. So I do appreciate you addressing my concerns regarding anti-LGBT rhetoric and anti-feminist rhetoric. So I appreciate you saying that up front. So my question is, the exact definition of hate speech is speech that offends, threatens, insults groups based on race, color, religion, natural origin, sexual orientation, disability, or other traits. That is the definition of hate speech. We can say all day long that we don't hate a particular type of person, but I want to know, how is that rhetoric any different than white folks that say that black people are thugs, are mentally not together, that we are unintelligent? How is it possible? How is that not different as a black man saying that black feminists are ugly, saying that queer people are, you said it earlier, I see you on tape. How is that different than saying that gay people are molested, that we are pedophiles? How is that any different than white people? He has said that online, and I have the video.
You see all them coming already?
Right. So my question is, how is this anti-woman, anti-gay rhetoric any different than white folks who say that black people are dumb, that we're thugs? Homophobia is hate speech, and anti-womanness is hate speech.
Okay. May I respond?
You can.
All right. Now, first, we got to take the emotionalism out of it. We won't be able to dialogue. Okay? I'm going to respond, but for the sake of time, I'm going to answer everybody's question. And if you like, when I'm done, me and you can have a private, respectful conversation. Okay? Now, okay, well, let me do this one, I'm going to go, and then we can come back to it. We want to have that conversation. Number 1, and because I got ADHD, I didn't remember everything, but I think I can get to most of the highlights of what you said.
First you said homophobia.
Yes.
Listen to this, folks. This is where the lessons get teach.
Oh, you're going to tell me that it's a mental illness from an outdated DSM-3 that was abolished in 1973? Don't try it.
This is not the DSM-5.
DSM-5?
This is the DSM-5.
Oh, that we're mentally ill.
Shame.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Chat too much.
I just want to hear you answer the question.
And I'm going to be respectful to you, okay? I didn't pick this up to talk about the fact that homosexuality was a mental illness in this book until 1974. But since you brought it up, I'll start with that. If you read the American Psychiatric Association position paper on the removal of homosexuality from this book as a mental illness, and I have it, it's available online, it clearly says that we did not change this classification because we had sufficient evidence to prove that people were born this way. So one of the questions that got to be dealt with from the Eurocentric mental health framework that we're dealing with this issue in, why was it removed? Now, having said that, I picked up the book to ask you on what page is the mental illness homophobia.
It's not a mental illness. It's a disease just like racism a disease.
Who defined homophobia as a disease? This is the authority of mental illness. Where is the diagnosis homophobia?
It's not a diagnosis. It's a state of being. It's a state of being.
Phobia.
It's a diagnosis.
A phobia is in this book.
Okay, so hate speech
and a
against
phobia,
gay people.
let me.
Okay.
Phobia is fear. Simple phobia, any type of claustrophobia, it's a fear. You said homophobia. I'm not afraid of nobody. I've been
Real Talk Wednesday.
To have conversations with them on their radio shows. I normally accept the invitation for respectful dialogue. I don't run from the opportunity if it's going to be respectful. Now, I stand by my position as a psychologist, as an educator, as a therapist for normally 20 years. And in 95% of the cases of gay and lesbians I personally know and met and worked with, most of them were victims of sexual abuse as children. I'm speaking not what some white person wrote in some research study. I'm telling you what I know. Amongst black folk, it is a pathology born of childhood sexual victimization. Denial is at the root of all mental illness. It's easy to say, I was born like this, so I don't have to deal with the pain that triggered it. Now, I never said that because you are gay, you want to prey on children sexually. Now, do you have a strong case of homosexuals and lesbians who prey on children? Look at the Roman Catholic Church. We don't have to debate whether or not folks who are sexually confused who may also prefer children. But am I going to wholesale indict the whole population and say because you're gay you want to molest children? I've never said that. I've never said that, and I never will say that. I'm very responsible with my words. Now, you drew a comparison that I'm going to disagree with. You said, how is me disagreeing with homosexuality, how is that any different from the white man saying black folks was dumb and stupid and this and that? You know what the difference is? That was lies about us. That could be proven. You're wrong. I don't denigrate or downgrade black gays and lesbians. Why would I do that? Do you realize black gay men have one of the highest suicide rates in America?
Because of speech like what you put out to the community. Speech like what you put out to the community.
If what you say
shame
is true,
and silence is why people don't come out.
What about before he was even born? What about before he was even born?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, what about 100 years ago, 200 years ago?
What about it?
There's no argument.
I'm asking you. I mean,
There were.
but you said him.
There have been
So
homophobia
what
has been
about
around for
what was going on
centuries.
before he was born?
He inherited it and he decided to continue the
How?
conversation.
I tell you, people are confused and they want confused
It is a
people.
political fact for anyone with common sense. It is a political fact for anyone with common sense. Dr. King was assassinated in 1968. Black Panther Party was destabilized in 1972. Homosexuality became normal in 1974. It is a political fact that homosexuality was declassified as an illness so it could be used to take over the black civil rights struggle. LBGT is what they call the new black. We know it's not black, but they're using it to ignore the black agenda in deference of the LBGT agenda. It is the only minority issue that matters in this country. Now let me ask you a question, my queen. Since we're talking about freedom of speech and people's rights and looking out for those who are being oppressed and denied their opportunity, where the hell was the LBGT movement when Michael Brown was murdered? Where the hell was
See it there?
Where was y'all? Y'all speak out against what goes on
I
with
will
black
actually
folks.
answer that for you.
No, you
I've
don't.
been to Ferguson. I've started an organization here, and maybe
We're talking about you. I'm talking about that movement.
Guess what? The three women that started Black Lives Matter, both Patrice and Alicia, are queer black women, and they are making
Talking
sure.
about individuals.
You see, Black Lives Matter. You see, there you go.
Three women.
That's why they hijacked it with their LGB agenda.
They do. Yes, they do.
LBGT
No,
does
you're
not, I'm not talking
incorrect.
about you as an individual,
I am
but the
talking. You
reason
are
why the
incorrect.
LBGT movement does not speak out against white supremacy is
You wanna
because
bet?
they are a part of it.
Wow.
And I love you. That's in love.
I'm gonna say this one last thing.
Number 4.
Anybody look up?
About you. I'm talking about that movement.
Guess what? The three women that started Black Lives Matter, both Patrice and Alicia, are queer black women, and they are
You're
making
talking
sure.
about individuals.
I am talking
I'm
about three
your
women.
population.
I am talking about three
They
women
do
that started
not
this movement.
speak out against white
Yes,
supremacy.
they do.
And the
Yes,
reason
they do.
LBGT
No,
does
you're
not, I'm not talking about you as an individual,
I am
but the
talking- you
reason
are
why
incorrect.
the LBGT movement does not speak out against white supremacy is
You wanna
because they
bet?
are a part of it. Here's my number 4. And I love you. That's in love.
I'm gonna say this one last thing.
Number 4.
Anybody look up our story? Anybody look up? I'm gonna say you have a fact. Just prove myself right. Look up the her story of the Black Lives Matter movement, and you will see that the three women that started that are feminists and two are queer, and they are not about the liberation of black people, it's about the liberation of gay people and the liberation of
That's what they're standing for. You see, she just put her foot straight in it.
That real quick. Because that is my issue with their movement. Stay with me. Stay with me. Let me go back to my ancestor, Frederick Douglass. Then we're going to move on. Because one thing we got to do, y'all, I talk about this and y'all hear me talk about this. When we talk about the black agenda, we have to stop taking time away from the black agenda to feed other people's agendas. Are I want to draw a parallel, respectfully. When Frederick Douglass was fighting for the right for blacks to get the vote, Susan B. Anthony and other white feminists told Frederick Douglass that you should not let the black man get the vote until the white woman get the vote. And Frederick Douglass said the struggle of a whole race ain't got a damn thing to do with your struggle against your man. No, stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. You cannot equate the gay struggle with the black struggle.
You see, that's the same thing you say. You cannot equate the LGBT struggle with the black struggle. Yeah, from ever since I know myself, we were struggling to be, treated like human beings normally, not victimized by police, not this and that. And it's a whole heap of thing. The structural, systemic racism, what we have to face on a daily basis, in this judgment, It's a real thing, may I tell you? All right, so you don't know, say, right now, scene. We've come up to near the end of the thing. So I'm done now, say, leave your comments on the things of what we've been discussing today and taking a look at. There's been 2 views on it. Yeah, I mean, just let your views be known. You don't know, say, your opinion is your opinion. All right, in the meantime, I'm going to leave you with this track here. This track here, Tough. And it's Nazamba and him Vex. And he's just going to reiterate all me Vex after all the way them people there are try and disturb the teachings of I culture and ram-raiding their narrative down straight and forward people's throat. So I Vex, seeing, so we're going to use it in the form of music, and we're going to bring in the one like Nazamba, for talk it. Yeah, man, because you don't know, so the thing set is a real something round here. All right, take it up like this. Seeing Nazamba, him simply say, Vex. Take a listen.
Living in time is like this.
What I go on with this thing here?
When there is constant price increase, Babylon are going to pay fees. It look like them things that they increase. Because I please. Alright, why Vex? Took them a no rasta. People work night and day, still not get no proper pay. I vex. Light bill high, food bill high, medication still can buy. I vex.
Real Talk Wednesday.
Vex Rasta. Yeah. I and I man I saw some people ever know star. But I'm gonna go through. Yeah, you know. I take my brother up to the hospital from Saturday, and I'll know him not get through. So I walk around at the house of parliament. You hear me? Go find out what them round their door. Got train black up, house flood out, politician full of mouth. I vex. None
Real Talk Wednesday.
Never yet manifest. I vex. I bumbuckler vex. All world leaders them, I man talk to the eye them too. Wanna bring diamond and gold come here? No, sir. Wanna bring oil come here? No, wanna bring forest and river and lake come here? No. So all the bumbuckler man them a fight over them thing every day. I kill off innocent people so starve. Guide them for live in a peace, Rasta. Seeing no racism, Rasta, and no greediness. You see me? How that me I tell the eye them. See?
Real Talk Wednesday.
Nowhere to run, go. Nowhere to hide. Look from your sin. You hear me? People lie down in a them bed and bomb drop down in a them head. I vex. My economy was the best, and now you take it and run it to wreck. I vex. Whenever you like, you take up your hike, and nurse and teachers them have to strike. I vex. I bumbuckler vex. The farmers cannot plant this year. This fertilizer dear, I vex. I man vex. Yeah. I mean, no one come to lie about cool. Cause a long time these guys are take people for fools. Them the education in the schools just because them have a total mental rule. And we put you in for lead. And now you start make the people them a bleed. Bleed.
Yes, indeed. That's the artist Nzamba. You don't know, say yeah. Alright, so we've reached our destination. Do remember, you can join us tomorrow. Tomorrow is Promote the Thing Day, Thursday already. Yo, these weeks are moving fast. You don't know, say large up to everybody who participated in the room. Large up Josephine, large up Bluebird, Steve Rowe in the building. Yeah, man, you don't know, say who else was there? Jesse inside the place also. Big up yourself. Yeah, and everybody who might be tuning in on the reruns, yeah, big up yourself. I hope so you gain some knowledge from it. And me I tell you, say, yo, parents, be aware of what's going on out there. They're pushing their agenda on the straightforward people. So you don't know, say, yo, we're not having it. So we are saying no. See? So blessed love family, and thank you for choosing the Dread UK production YouTube channel. You don't know, hour a day with the Dread UK. Yeah man, vibes and energy and the right teachings are reach your way. So blessed love until such time. Yeah man, have a wonderful day folks. See you, we out.
Okay, taddy ho, farewell. Do tune in again from your host, Gregory Fabulous, from the Dread UK.
Gregory Fabulous, come on, get up!